Hello, welcome to Media Dialogues. I hope you've had a wonderful Diwali. The first full-fledged festive season after the pandemic has been celebrated with great joy and enthusiasm. For retailers, festive sales can make all the difference, and by all accounts, it seems to have been a great festive season. Look at some of the data that's coming in. Major e-commerce platforms reportedly saw sales of 40,000 crore rupees, and that's just in the last week of September, so we're not yet talking Diwali for them. Gold sales are the best in 4 years, and according to the Confederation of All India Traders, business was expected to cross 1.5 lakh crore rupees by Diwali, and that's the small businesses. To understand consumption patterns, consumer demand and expectations, especially in the key categories of apparel, cosmetics and lifestyle, I'm joined by Venu Nair. He's the CEO and Managing Director of Shoppers Stop. Venu, good to have you in the studio. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to you too, and thanks for having me on the show, and to all of your viewers again, a very happy Diwali.
Thank you, Venu. What is your key highlight of the Diwali season that's just, that's just winding down?
I think first and foremost, ever since the third wave went away in February, March, consumer sentiment has been improving every single month and month on month. And definitely as we came into the festive season, we saw that rising quite rapidly. And a few factors, I guess, which were playing into it. The first Diwali, where people were not having to wear a mask, not be scared of getting out, obviously wanting to catch up on the 2 years that they've missed, occasions which have not happened. So all of that definitely coming together has driven very strong consumer sentiment, and that's obviously led to a lot of shopping and buying. So that's something which I think all of us are happy about.
But what would the key highlight be for you of Diwali 2022? What can you tell us that you saw across the various stores that you have in this country?
Shoppers Stop, as a department store, we are a house of brands, and we cater to, we are a women-centric brand to that extent as a retailer, because majority of the categories that we retail are for women. And within that, categories which did see a good surge, Indian wear, as I just mentioned, also home as a category saw a surge towards as we went into Diwali. And then menswear, as again the offering that we have on brands, we are a destination for men's, and menswear had the strongest growth. Specifically also categories again which suits and jackets, which had not seen growth for more than 2 years, with occasions coming formal wear coming back. Bandeya is our Indian wear brand, and it grew 3 times over last year. I mean, the growth that we saw there was absolutely phenomenal. And then gifting as a category, and things like watches, which are fairly higher value product, but people were going out to buy gifts for their loved ones, and again these were categories which lend itself to that. So we saw quite a multi-category growth across our stores. In the last 2 years, we saw more of the tier 2s growing. As this year, while the tier 2s continued to grow, the metro cities came back very strongly.
We know that this would be the busiest time of the year for retailers. Give us a sense of what it was, what kind of stocking, manpower, what did Shoppers Stop do to be ready for these kind of sales that you saw?
As you rightly said, it is the golden quarter. We call it the golden quarter within our business, because this is the biggest period of sale for the entire year. And the planning for that starts way in advance, almost 6 months in advance. Starts with deciding the theme that we would want for Diwali, and actually it starts with Pujo.
And then, I mean, actually Onam, Ganesh Chaturthi, Pujo,
Raksha Bandhan, and then Pujo, and then Diwali, and then Chhat Puja, which is actually later this week. So there's a series of festivals, which is why it's called the festive sales. Diwali, of course, being the peak. But as you rightly said, starts well in advance, almost 6 months in advance. We would decide what is the theme that we would have for Diwali this year, what would be the trends that we are seeing, From a product point of view, we then look at our own brands as well as our brand partners, and we look at a lot of exclusive lines which would be available only at Shoppers Stop. And that's something which becomes a big point of difference for our customers to come to us for. Once we get that part right, then we also start about the whole communication strategy. And this year specifically, we had 3 different campaigns that we had done, and we went quite aggressive this time in terms of communicating, because again, this was the resurgence of effectively buying that was happening across offline and online. And that's something which we definitely worked towards well from May onwards and peaking in Diwali.
Right.
And then people, because our own staff, and this is something which is very key, because during the peak period when we've got a lot of people walking into our stores, shopping online, making sure that we've got the right number of people to assist, personal shoppers, because personal shopping is something which is unique to us. We also must remember is that while everyone's holidaying and enjoying, it's the people in the stores who are assisting, who are actually working day in, day out, all through the Diwali period.
Just before you got into the golden quarter, you came out with your Q2 results for the year, isn't it? For FY23, and it was a historic quarter, because you said that was the best ever Q2 sales, best ever sales, quarterly sales for Shoppers Stop. How does this golden quarter then look in the context of where you're springing off from?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Q2 was our best ever Q2 in terms of sales and profits, and we are quite delighted and encouraged by the results that we are seeing.
So is the golden quarter, which will then become quarter 3, is it going to be another historic high?
We certainly started off well. We still have more than 2 months to go, so I don't want to look into a crystal ball on it yet, but we definitely have started off well. But if I just talk about Q2, and which gives us an indication of where we have been, we saw strong sales driven by strong footfalls into store as well as eyeballs online. If we look at the total number of customers that we engage with in Q2, it was 40% higher than even the pre-COVID. Now that's online and offline put together. But if I just look at only offline, the stores, even there, it grew over the pre-COVID numbers. And that just gives an indication of the consumer sentiment. And as we go into this golden quarter, also winter gets strong into both, especially in the north and the east. And that again leads to additional reasons for customers to walk in to buy.
Omni-channel seems to be the reality today for retailers and for large retailers. So you have your stores, and you continue rolling out new stores and expanding geographically, but online is also contributing a lot. I think 64 crore rupees of your revenues in the last quarter came from online sales. But Venu, what proportion of your sales are online and offline?
As a retailer, the biggest transformation that has happened at Shoppers Stop is moving from a brick and mortar retailer to an omni-channel retailer. And the reason we call ourselves an omni-channel retailer, and it's quite unique to Shoppers Stop, because the large physical presence that we have, we've got 94 department stores, we've got over 150 beauty doors spread in over 56 cities now, and also linking each of these stores online, so that every single product that we sell in our stores is now available on shopperstop.com.
So, but what proportion of your...
Internally, we have agreed is that it doesn't make sense to separate it out as online and offline. As an absolute number, between 6 to 8% of our sales is finished digitally. But what we are conscious of is that a large or a majority of the journeys actually start online today. Because before walking into a store, it's more than likely the customers actually research what they want to buy. And today we are in a scenario where the customer knows a lot more about the product than they ever did.
At this point of time, the e-commerce bit of your business is the starting point of the journey for a lot of customers.
Absolutely. It is definitely the means by which they initiate the engagement with us. That's where they start looking at us, and then choose to walk into the store many a times to complete the journey, which is why it may not get recorded as a digital sale, but definitely that's a starting point. And that's definitely where awareness is beginning.
And is that, I mean, there was also some figures that you all shared about the kind of money that was spent last year. Over 50 crore rupees was spent last year in enhancing digital capabilities. So that's again on this front, isn't it?
It's on commerce, but also beyond commerce.
Your systems.
It's the overall digital and upgrading ourselves and keeping pace and moving ourselves to being a digital first organization, not just on the commerce side, but across all other functions. I mean, one of the big investments that we just completed and went live with was S4HANA from SAP. And we were one of the first ones in the country to not just do S4HANA, but also implement the finance and retail modules of S4HANA. Similarly, we invested into a data lake, and that was done last year. Using that data lake, what we are now able to do is to get analytics at an individual level and also create cohorts and personas of our customers, which helps us to then make
forecast and
also offer customers choices which are much more in sync with what they are looking for.
You represent a brand and a network which is 31 years old.
That's right.
On the day we are recording this, it's 31 years old. So this is really the oldest department store format that Indians have been accustomed to, especially in the metro cities, especially in Mumbai, right? So who is the Shoppers Stop customer?
You're absolutely right. Today is foundation day for us, 31 years since Shoppers Stop first opened in Andheri. And over the years, Shoppers Stop has evolved and continued to be the leading department store of the country. We are a house of brands, and we cater to the premium lifestyle segment, and we cater to the family that is looking for a choice in that segment. And we are a one-stop shop for the family. Apparel is our largest category, but we also have beauty, which is large, followed by watches, accessories, and home footwear. So multiple categories under one-stop shop.
Okay, Venu, I'm going to have to ask you to pause because we've got to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to find out how Shoppers Stop, which is the oldest shopping chain and department store in the country, is planning to reimagine this concept. Stay with us.